Hello, and welcome to the second part of synchronous learning. Now that we have some ideas for how we might use synchronous learning, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of a Google Meet. The first thing you need to know is that there are several ways that you can create a Google Meet. The first one is to go to meet.google.com and make sure you're using your school email address, or you can click on the waffle and go to Meet from the choice of apps there. It's very important that you give your Meet a nickname. And this presentation should be available to you in this Google Classroom or in this training. And all of the things that are underlined are videos that you can access or articles. It's important that you give your Meet a nickname because students can get into the Meet before you if they have a direct link. If you create a nickname, you do not need to have a direct link that you share with the students. You just tell them to go to meet.google.com and type in the nickname, and then they will be able to access the Meet. Also, it's important that you remember that all the students should exit before you and that you be the last one out of the Meet. If you do it that way, then students won't be able to get back into the Meet after it's over. It's important that students always be supervised when they're online using their school accounts, and this is the way that we can accomplish that. If you click on this, you'll see something called the Grid View extension, and that will allow you to see more than 16 people at a time. And a video for how to do that is here. And then lastly, you can also create a Google Meet using your calendar. If you do that, you should be able to give it a nickname. If you can't give it a nickname, then you should create your Meet in a different way for students. But feel free to schedule meets on calendar if you're meeting with adults. You can also add attachments if you use the calendar feature. I included this slide because you may need to share with your parents or your students how to join a Google Meet. And if you click on this video, it will tell you exactly how to join using Classroom, using a Chromebook, using a phone, or using a laptop. But this also tells you all the different ways that you could get onto a Meet. You can also go into a Meet using Google Classroom. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. The nice thing about Classroom is if students are already in your classroom, then you don't have to create a Meet with a nickname. They can just click on the link. And also students cannot join before you, nor can they rejoin after you leave. Just remember to be the last one out. You can turn that off and on in settings, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute, so you don't need to reset the code. Okay, so now we're going to go to actual Google Meet. So I'm just going to open a new tab here, and I'm going to go to meet.google.com. When I do that, I see this screen. Students will see something that says join a meeting, because if they're logging in using their school account, they will not be able to start a meeting on their own. So I'm just going to click join. This is where I would add my nickname. And if you would like to use a nickname because you're not using Google Classroom with your students, or you're pulling students specifically for intervention, you need to give the Meet name, you need to have the Meet name be very specific. And the reason for that is if somebody else happens to be doing a Google Meet right now and they also name it Nattinger 1, then we'll all be in the same Meet at the same time. So don't make it be called intervention or something like that. It needs to be something that's unique, but you can reuse it every week or anytime you need to meet with the students. So now I've started the Meet. And right here, oh no, I'm on screen. Right here, you will see the Join Now function, and that's what you're going to do, Join Now. And you can see right here, this is the meeting nickname. This is the actual link to the meeting. So if you gave that to someone, then they would still need to know the meeting nickname. Right here, you can add people, and that would be helpful if you're having a guest speaker or someone who's outside of our domain. Once I start Meet, notice that since I'm hiding my camera, it just shows my face. And that's defaulting to whatever my Google account photo is. So it's important that you let students know we'll be able to see those photos so that they don't have anything inappropriate. Down here is the meeting details. And that's where you can see the nickname. That's where you can also see the joining information. And if you started your meet in Calendar, this is where your attachments would appear. Then I've got my turn the microphone off, leaving the call, and the video. I'll just turn the video on again for a minute. Hello. And I'll turn it back off. Right here, we have turn on captions. The nice thing about turning on captions is that as I'm talking, the captions will appear at the bottom of the screen. It will delete some replacement words like which is nice. And it will also give you a nice set of captions to use if you're recording your meet. Right here, we have the present now. You can present your entire screen, a window, or a Chrome tab. A Chrome tab is what's recommended if you're showing a video during your meet. On the skinny snowman, or the 3 dots here, this is where you can record your meet. You can change your layout here. Sidebar is probably what you're used to seeing, and that's whoever's speaking appearing here and everyone else to the side. Spotlight shows just the people who are speaking. And then over here, we have tiled, and tiled shows all the people. You can also pin people. So if you want to pin yourself in the spotlight so that students can't see each other, you can do that. Okay. And then here in the skinny snowman is also a link for settings. It's important that you know about this, but also that your students know about this, because they may need to adjust their video if they're having problems with their internet. So they can change their resolution to standard. You can change your resolution to standard, and they can change theirs to standard with just one video at a time or audio only. So if you have a student who's really not able to have a good enough connection to see the video with you, at least they would be able to hear you. Okay. And one thing I will also point out is you can give people the phone number to call in for the audio, but the problem with that is that if they have the phone number, they can get into the meet before you. And again, remember, we want to have our students supervise. Up here at the top, you'll see a list of all the people who are in the meet. And this is the place where you'll be able to mute people or remove people from the meet if you want to. And then we have the chat function right here. And that's where students can ask questions. If you have a large group you're meeting with, you may want to have one student be the moderator and allow them to tell you when questions appear.